Nothing under special presentations and awards. Moving down to committee appointments, future of the Wiscasset Schools Ad Hoc Committee. Deborah Pooler, do I hear a motion?
I move to appoint Deb Pooler to the Future of Wiscasset Schools Committee.
I second.
Motion by Kim, seconded by Terry. Any questions, discussion? Okay, calling for a vote. Terry,
Yes.
Dusty,
Yes.
Kim,
Yes.
Pam,
Yes.
and I vote yes. So Dennis, am I correct? That fills that committee? Or close? Maybe one more?
I think that fills it.
You're muted, Dennis.
I thought I unmuted it, sorry. I didn't hear back from Willard, so I'll have to check with him just to make sure that he. But yes, if Willard accepts, then yes, it's full.
Okay. All right, awesome. Budget Committee, Robert Jones. Do I hear a motion?
Move to approve. Second.
Moved by Pam, seconded by Terry. Any questions or discussion? Hearing and seeing none, calling for a vote. Terry,
Yes.
Dusty,
Yes.
Kim,
Yes.
Pam,
Yes.
and I vote yes. Thank you to both of them for their service. Okay, now we have two public hearings. The first is a special amusement permit to Cecilio Ventura during business as Taste of Orient, 306 Bath Road. I'll entertain a motion to enter into a public hearing.
So moved. Second.
Moved by Pam, seconded by Terry. Any questions, discussion? Hearing none, calling for a vote. Terry,
Yes.
Dusty,
Yes.
Kim,
Yes.
Pam,
Yes.
I vote yes. Moving into public hearing at 6:06. There any comments from the public? Look like we have too much for public with us today. Okay. Going once, going twice. Okay, I will entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
Excuse me.
Oh, Pam?
Yeah, questions from the board?
Oh, I thought we were doing that before we actually motioned to approve it or not. No?
No, I just had a
Oh.
question about the, I had a question about the application.
Okay, you can do that now.
Okay, yeah, on the fire department line, there's a concern about the possibility of going over the occupancy for the venue. I didn't know if the owner, Mr. Gianterra, had been asked about what his plans were for keeping track of the population inside the building.
I don't know if Rob spoke to him about this or not. My guess is probably not.
Okay.
Do you have any idea, Dennis, is this going to be all inside or outside?
I think it's supposed to be a combination of inside and outside.
It's a band event. Is that correct?
Yes, it's a benefit for Matthew Bruce, who I think was in a motorcycle accident.
Yep. Any other questions at this point?
But I can go out tomorrow and just share this concern with him.
Okay,
That would
no,
be-
that's all I had.
Okay. All right, I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Pam, second by Terry. Questions, discussion? Calling for a vote. Terry,
Yes.
Dusty,
Yes.
Kim,
Yes.
Pam,
Yes.
and I vote yes. Closing the public hearing at 6:08. So now we need a motion on the permit itself.
I make the motion that we approve the special amusement permit for Cecilio Yantera doing business as Taste of Orient.
Second,
Motion by Pam, seconded by Terry. Any other questions or discussion? Okay. Calling for a vote, Terry,
yes.
Dusty,
yes,
Kim,
Yes.
Pam.
Yes,
I vote yes, 5-0. Okay, moving on to the next one, a special amusement permit for Vanessa and Richard Jordan doing business as Wiscasset Speedway LLC, 247 West Alma Road. I'll entertain a motion to open the public hearing.
So moved,
second,
Moved by Terry, seconded by Pam. Questions, discussion? Calling for a vote, Terry,
yes.
Dusty,
yes,
Kim,
Yes.
Pam.
yes.
I vote yes, 5-0, going into public hearing at 6:10. Any questions from the public? Any questions from the board?
This is just to establish their whole year next year. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And
That was one thing I was thinking we might want to, I don't know, add something on the form or something. It's not immediately obvious if it's not a one-day thing, if it's like what the time period is. So just a side note. Any other questions? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
so moved,
Second,
Moved by Terry, seconded by Pam. Any questions or discussion? Seeing none, calling for a vote. Terry,
yes.
Dusty,
yes,
Kim,
Yes.
Pam,
yes.
and I vote yes, 5-0, closing the public hearing at 6:11 PM. Now we need a motion to approve or deny the permit itself.
Move to approve,
Second,
Moved by Terry, seconded by Pam. Any other questions or discussion? Seeing none, calling for a vote. Terry,
yes.
Dusty,
yes,
Kim,
Yes.
Pam.
yes.
I vote yes. 5-0, the permit's approved. Okay, moving on to number 7, public comments. Are there any members of the public who would like to say anything? Don't see anyone waving at me or saying anything, so I'm gonna take that as a no.
I do have a comment.
Okay,
I just wanted to compliment Selectman Anderson on her new dog control barking maneuver. This is working very well.
Why, thank you.
all right. Number 8, department head or committee chair reports, seeing none there. Moving on to 9, unfinished business, airport solar project land lease, MSD Wiscasset. I know, Dennis, did you want to start us off with this? I think we're all aware at this point, we got the copy of
So
the.
you all got the lease, and as I said, I'm sorry, this, I had hoped to have this in time for you to be able to review this and make a decision tonight, and I fully understand that that's a very long document. Most of it is pretty much boilerplate stuff as far as land leases go, and there's not a whole lot that's in there that, as far as that stuff can change. The business terms of this lease haven't changed. It's still the same $1,400 per acre that they agreed to back some time ago. The lease is still for the 20 acres that we had agreed to. We had some issues going back and forth with some of the easements. We had asked, so this was also delayed a little bit by a change in attorneys. There was one attorney that was dealing with it. She had gone on leave and another attorney had to pick it up. Beth, the first attorney, had asked them to clear up some language on the easements. And that seemed to take a little bit of time. I'm not sure if Suzanne, the new attorney, didn't get the information or whatever, but that kind of delayed things a little bit. But we did clear up that language. And I think you could see on the map that I sent you where the negative solar easement is. It was just that strip of land that actually goes around the development itself. Other than that, I mean, the terms are pretty much what was agreed to back in when they started this. And remember, this project, for those of you that haven't been around, this project has changed a little bit. Back in 2019, when it was originally proposed, it was going to be 2 projects out there, which would generate X amount of dollars for revenue for the airport. When Synergy got into their permitting process with the DEP and everybody that needed to be involved with this, there was a change in the PUC rules that did not allow two projects of this size to coexist in the same space. And so it got bumped back to just the one project. To offset the revenue, Synergy offered us an additional lease payment every year to help out with that. They ran into some problems with terming the lease with that, and they ran into some issues with their investors over that. So they did end up changing it from the $25,000 a year to the lump sum that offer that you had in your email today. So, I mean, that's pretty much where we're at with this. Again, the language in there, a lot of it is just legal stuff that's just not, it is what it is. But I certainly understand that you guys want to take some time and read it and understand it. So, and I've made that clear to Chad at Synergy that, no decision was likely to be made tonight.
At this point, are there questions from the board? Terry?
Since I was not in on the original board that made this decision and asked those early questions at this late date, I'd like to know if the question was ever asked why there could not be this solar array positioned on land that is already cleared, say, along those long stretches of land that, are the energy corridor, any of the huge available land that is what I call our energy corridors. Was that question ever asked? And I suppose that goes to Chad.
Yes. Hi, Ms. Heller. Nice to see everyone and talk to the board again. And thanks for having me. Yes. So when we first started looking at sites way back in 2019, we reached out to the airport as well as the town, and we went over several different sites. The issue with some of those sites that you mentioned, they're on larger transmission lines. And we need, for the project of this nature, we need to connect to the distribution line. So we didn't find any sites at the time that met those requirements. So that's why we, and then in addition to that, we kind of specialize on solar projects adjacent to airports. We've done that in a number of states, including Indiana, Illinois, and also.
Let me interrupt just for a second. I understand, that this is the normal practice that you've been doing this with airports, but here we have this available property and transmission lines, that could be run anywhere from wherever you are. Did you consider the energy corridors that are already existent? I'm not talking about the transmission lines. I mean, just the cleared land. Was that not considered?
We weren't presented with that opportunity at the time from the town or the airport. So, and we had negotiated we had looked at a number of spaces next to the airport and also with private landowners. And we had actually looked at sites that were on even a little bit larger on 34.5 kV And then CMP came back and told us that we couldn't connect to those lines because they were considered transmission lines. So
Right,
That-
and I wouldn't expect you to be able to
yes,
connect
so
to those.
from
You'd have
from
to
an
come up with your
interconnection
own.
standpoint, we weren't able to find any sites that would work so that we can connect to the right type of lines for this size project.
But that question was never asked. Is that correct?
No, we did actually follow up with the town. So, and we had talked to them after
I
we had
mean, about the energy corridor as a possible site.
No, we had followed up with them, and we had to move very quickly because the program was moving very quickly. So we had followed up with the town with respect to additional sites that we could look at. So
Tim?
Mm,
Yeah, can I ask a clarifying question of Terry? When you say the energy corridor, could you be more specific what you're talking about?
I mean, all of those cleared land properties, the cleared corridor with all the transmission lines that went from Main Yankee to all of the other places. And there are other
Right.
energy
We
corridors.
don't own them though, right? Like, I don't think that would be our land to, like, we don't own that.
That's basically one of the questions I'm asking. I wanted to know if they considered of, that.
yes,
Like leasing
And
it
that
from.
was- that was
CMP.
never presented to us as an opportunity for property that the town owned.
Dennis, do we own that land?
No.
Who owns it?
Well, whoever owns it, and Central Maine has an easement through it. And Central Maine owns a bunch of it themselves.
Yeah, I don't think it's our, also, you know what, would that be other good land? I always thought where Maine Yankee is, that would be an ideal place to have a solar farm or a wind farm, but we don't own that either.
Is it true, Chad, that really you preferred to look at the airport location because that is basically what many other solar projects do?
No, I mean, we have we have three airport projects in Maine, but we have a total of 15 solar projects in Maine. So it's still a small portion of our overall portfolio in Maine that we've developed. We have built projects, and when we approached the town and the airport, they were very excited because it was area and property that they had very little use for otherwise, and they saw it as a good opportunity for revenue generation for the town as well as the airport. And so that was one of the main reasons that we had followed up with them, in addition to the fact that, we have built projects on other airport property. So it's just one of several types of areas. Frankly, it's a lot more work, Ms. Heller, because we have to get the FAA approval. A lot of other developers, they don't like to develop projects on airport property just because of the additional hoops that you have to jump through with the FAA.
It's just interesting to me that that was never posed as a possibility. I understand the attractiveness of the town making money. I can understand why it was possibly very appealing to the earlier board. But cutting down 20 acres or 40 acres or however many acres of trees is unattractive as a way to go about making money in this area. At least to me, it's unattractive.
What I'll also say is a few other things on that point, and then I'll just stop talking. A couple points. So in actuality, the airport likes the fact that we're cutting down the trees because it helps with their runway management. So as far as the tree obstructions, and then the amount of GHG reduction that we're going to get out of the solar project, and I can show you the table from the Environmental Protection Agency, it'll be the equivalent of replacing 40 acres of trees on an annual basis going forward during the lease term. So for the 20 acres that we're taking out one time, we'll be replacing that with the GHG offset, greenhouse gas emission offset, for 40 plus acres per year. So just something else that I just wanted to add, and I'll just stop talking now.
Okay, I want to go to Kim.
Yeah, I just wanted to point out that when the project was first introduced to the select board, that actually was part of it. Like, while I hate personally, I don't like the idea of cutting down trees because of our agreements with the FAA that we are in and are unable to get out of. We will eventually need to cut those trees down anyway. So this just seems like a win-win for the town. You know, it'd
That's
be-
correct. That was brought up during
Energy-
the
it
lease option
was, like, it
period.
was something that we discussed at the time.
Yes,
So it was, you know, produces clean energy and reduces cost to the town while also creating a revenue for the town in a place that didn't have revenue before. And those were the things that the original, or the board that heard about the original proposal liked.
that's a great point, Miss Anderson. We did come in front of the board after extensive diligence on different sites that were open to us that were owned by the town, especially at the airport. And that was one of the points that was brought up by the select board at the time, and that you know, we definitely took account of for the lease option arrangement at the time. Back in, I believe it was September 2019 is when we got the original lease option agreement approved by the town. So about 2
Any-
years ago.
Any further questions from the board? Terry?
Have you identified the other parcels of land that you will be planting trees on? And when that would start?
I'm sorry, what, for what?
Did you say you will be reforesting?
No.
Or-
What I was talking about was when you look at the solar production from a 7 megawatt solar project, which is what we're building at the site, the greenhouse gas offset is the equivalent, the carbon sequestration is the equivalent of 44 acres of trees that are planted every year on an annual basis versus the 20 acres. So what I'm saying is the offset and sequestration from the solar project it's a 1 year payback basically. And then you're in the money after that for the next 36 years for the sequestration. It's been giving to get essentially.
Okay.
Dusty?
Chad, I don't know a lot about solar. You hear things that said that solar panels to manufacture are very polluting. So is that sequestration you're talking about? Does that account for the manufacture of the panels as well?
Yes, yeah. I mean, I think they take that into account. I think they're looking at the kilowatt hours that you're producing from the solar, and then factoring that in as far as the carbon sequestration. So I'm not sure about the actual manufacturing of the modules. What I will say is that the modules themselves are just straight photovoltaic modules. So essentially it's polysilicon, which is what's in it's basically the key ingredient is sand. And then on top of that is the glass that goes in the metal framing. So essentially that's what the module is made out of. In a lot of respects, it's actually the products themselves are fairly, raw material type products that you have. It's not like a lot of plastic or anything like that goes into the manufacturing of the modules. A lot of it's recyclable.
Is it the energy involved in converting that material into the product that people are concerned about with manufacturing?
I can't speak on that issue. I'm not. Yeah, I don't. But what I will say is you're getting about 10 million kilowatt hours a year of clean energy from the PV modules, and that's what I mean with the carbon sequestration offset that the EPA has calculated.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions at this point? Okay. Dusty,
Oh,
is that a
no,
hand?
go ahead, Sarah. You might be about to say what I was about to say, so go ahead.
I was just gonna say, it's kind of sounds like folks would like some extra time with that, with the lease, in terms of not voting on it tonight. Is that the general consensus of the board, or feel free?
Yeah, I was gonna say that it sounds like a good deal and it sounds like it's good for the town, but we got the lease today and I would like to review it, and I'll probably have more questions I want to ask after I do that.
Sure.
Pam?
I'd like to see this at our next meeting. I don't want to move on it tonight. I think I'd be ready to move on it at our next meeting if I've got 2 weeks to look through it more carefully.
Okay, so if someone would like to make a motion to table.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, the motion's been made to table this to our next meeting on, I believe, the 19th. Any further questions or discussion from the board? Seeing none, calling for a vote. Terry,
Yes.
Dusty,
Yes.
Kim,
Yes.
Pam,
Yes.
and I vote yes. So we'll, thank you, Chad. We'll, sure we'll have some more questions for you next
Sure,
time.
not a problem. Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your week.
Thank you, Chad.
Take care.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, everyone. And I'm guessing if you have questions that might need a little research, perhaps send them over to Dennis and he can get them to Chad. Does that sound all right? I mean, you're gonna be on vacation, so I guess I could get them to Chad, but yeah. All right, so moving on to 10B, new business license. Eric McIntyre doing business as Village Handcraft LLC, 52 Water Street. Do I hear a motion?
I'm missing something.
Yeah, what's? or-
Uh,
We
10A.
skipped sewer abatement.
Oh, I'm sorry. I did. Forget that. Going back to A, sewer abatements. Stuart Wyman, 277 Gardner Road. We had the full recommendation with all of the documentation from Rob. Sorry about that, Rob. Familiar moment there.
No, it's very good.
Susan,
Oh,
would you mind muting? Okay. All right. Any, happy to have a motion so we can discuss.
I move to approve.
second.
Moved by Pam, seconded by Terry. Questions or discussions on this one? Okay, not seeing any. Calling for a vote. Terry,
Yes.
Dusty,
Yes.
Kim,
Yes.
Pam,
Yes, and thank you to Rob for making this so clear.
and I vote yes, 5-0. The abatement is approved. Thank you. Okay, now 10B, business license. Eric McIntyre doing business as Village Handcraft LLC, 52 Water Street. Do I hear a motion?
I move to approve.
Second.
Moved by Pam, seconded by Terry. Any questions, discussion on this? Seeing none. Calling for a vote. Terry,
Yes.
Dusty,
Yes.
Kim,
Yes.
Pam,
Yes.
and I vote yes, 5-0. I think I might skip 10C. No, I'm just kidding. Town manager's vacation.
Why does he need a vacation?
Let's just go on to D, okay? Yeah.
October 8 through 19. So we need to approve this. So, do I hear a
I
motion?
move to,
So
I move
moved.
to
Oh, go ahead.
second.
All right. Let's see, Terry motioned. Oh, hi there.
Pam approved. Pam seconded.
Pam seconds. Any questions or discussion?
How
All
soon can he leave?
I recommend he took his phone off.
Yeah, how can we miss you if you won't go away? That kind of thing, you know?
All right.
I so hope that you have a wonderful time away, Dennis. You deserve it.
Thank you.
All right. So calling for a vote. Terry,
Yes?
Dusty,
Yes.
Kim,
Yes.
Pam,
Yes.
and I vote yes. You can officially go on vacation, Dennis. Thank you. Have a good time.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, moving on to 10D, American Rescue Plan Act funds. Dennis, do you want to talk about this one? It's also in your report.
Yeah, so I included it in my report. And, and I've been saying all along that we've been expecting these funds and some of the uses that we could use for these funds. So we did get the first check. So it's sitting there. As I explained in my report, one of the things, one of the things that can be used of this is sewer improvements. They've made that very clear. And we've been trying for over a year now to get these pump station generators installed. And every time we go out to bid, it comes back with more money than what we bid on, what we budgeted for. And this last bid that we got, they're holding the price on out of the goodness of their hearts, basically, because prices are just going up constantly. If we have to wait until next budget season for this, we're going to pay, I think, substantially more than what we're paying now. So I'm just suggesting that this is a good use for these funds. There's a lot of other uses that can be used for these funds, and that's a discussion that you guys will need to have. But I think this is an important project, and I'll let you guys banter it around and ask me questions.
And then Pam?
Yeah, so I just want to say that since I've been on the board and even before Rob Lawley became the director of the sewage treatment plant or the wastewater treatment plant, the pump station generators has been a really big issue. Whenever there's a storm, and there have been nights when our crews across the board have been literally moving portable generators. At one point, we only had 2, I think, and they would move them from station to station. And it's kind of harrowing when you think about what might happen if those guys didn't stay up all night, like dragging those generators around to keep the sewage pumps working. So I think that this would be an excellent use of the money. Thanks for suggesting it, Dennis. And it's got my support.
Pam?
Dennis, can you tell me what was the total amount that we're going to receive overall for these funds?
Yeah, the ARPA funds, well, we got half the first time. So let me just do the math real quick.
Okay. So it's
397, 432.
okay.
Other questions?
I just think this is a terrific use for these funds. I've got to agree with everything Kim said. My previous time on the board, watching this department struggle with power outages and dire consequences that can happen if those pumps are kept functioning. I just think it has to happen.
Rob, go ahead.
Unmute.
Yes, I did. It's been a pet project of mine since I came here a couple of years ago to try to get some generators for our pump stations. We have the 4 that we have now, 3 of which are portable. But one of the things, and it has been said by the 2 select board members who've commented already, that oftentimes when we need to go out and fire these up manually, there's a hurricane, a blizzard, lines are down, there's all kinds of dangers out there. And these generators that we hope to buy and install would be permanently mounted, and they would also have automatic starters on them, so that when the power went out, these would automatically kick on. And it is our hope to put 4 of these at our important and workhorse pump stations. So the most important pump stations would be taken care of during, if it was a hurricane or a blizzard or whatever, and prepare ahead of time by putting the remaining ones we have at other important stations, and just keep one for transporting to the lower flow ones. We have 18 pump stations, and only, I think, 3 or 4 of them are what we would call low flow. so that you can get through a whole day without pumping it out. If that, I'm so thrilled that Dennis brought this up, and I'm so pleased that at least some of you think that it's a good idea. And I'm just thinking of our guys and protecting the town and protecting them out there. Ideally, sometime in the future, it would be great to have all 18 with backup power generators. And I realize that's a pipe dream, but what a blessing it would be to get these 4. So I really hope that you see it the same way that I do. We would be protecting the public from sewer overflows, and we would also be protecting our employees at these 4 pump stations. So I'd like to leave you with that, and I'd like to thank Dennis for really being a momentum maker in trying to get this out to bid and to keep it alive, because I think it's very worthwhile for the town. So thank you for your time. Thank you for letting me speak, Sarah. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Any other questions from the board? Discussion? So Dennis, are you looking for a motion tonight, or?
If you're feeling comfortable with it, yes, because we can't sit on this bid for a whole lot longer before they're going to pull it. So
If I just said so moved, does that work?
not good enough. Got to be more specific.
Yeah, I'll leave it up to Pam.
Pam?
I move that the town of Wiscasset expend $123,500 of the ARPA funds to complete the generator project for the Wiscasset Solid Waste Transfer Station.
Second.
Okay, been moved and seconded. Any additional discussion or questions? Okay, seeing none, calling for a vote. Terry?
Yes.
Dusty?
Yes.
Kim?
Yes.
Pam?
Absolutely, yes.
And I vote yes, 5-0. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
You're welcome.
Thank you, guys.
All right, down to 10E. Yes,
Before we move on to that, do we want to talk about the remainder of the funds now, or how we're going to deal with the rest of the 198 that we've got to check for now?
Kim, hang on.
I guess my thought would be I would prefer to do that at a workshop so that we could have time to generate some ideas, think about things that are on the table that have been shelved, and then maybe carry out like a cost effectiveness analysis on each of the projects proposed and alternatives so that we can make a really great choice. We have until 2024, I believe, to spend these, right, Dennis?
That's right. Correct.
Ooh, okay. Terry, did you want to say something?
I was going to ask if, and I know that Dennis has a list of things already that perhaps besides the generators that some of our the first responders, our frontline people. I assume that you have that list started.
I have some ideas. Yes. Yep. But I like Kim's idea. I mean, there's no rush on spending these. I can certainly come up with a whole lot of other things to spend them on today. But I think the rest of this, I think you guys need to take your time to figure out what you would like to see done with them. I mean, department heads always have needs, so.
Is there a place where it says all the uses that we can use? I'm sure there is.
Yes, it's like 54 pages long. I can condense it down for you, and I've been to a lot of meetings on this. I think there are some people that are taking some liberties with their interpretations on what these can be used for, because there are some specific things that they can't be used for as well. So, I mean, I put the pump stations out there immediately because I think they're very important, but the rest of it, you guys have to mull this over and make some good decisions. So
I would suggest that we keep this on the table and let's try to schedule another workshop in the near future. Dusty, did you have another comment?
Yeah, I was gonna say, if we could, go ahead and schedule that workshop. I'm looking at Dennis's report and we've got a couple of paragraphs on the pumps we just bought, but the rest of it is about EMS and other wages. And that seems to be a very pressing issue that we need to get going on pretty soon. And maybe these funds could be used for it or whatever, but
Okay,
that's my thought.
Yeah, I mean, premium pay for first responders is an allowable use of these funds.
is,
Is.
okay.
And yeah, and I brought that up because I think if we could do that in a more timely manner than waiting for a workshop, I would like to be able to do that. I think it's something that we would all want to do for our frontline people. And I have, some things that I want to say about it whenever we get there.
Yeah, I would suggest that we get down to the rest of the town manager's report and then let's discuss a possible workshop soon or action on those items once we get to them. Does that?
Thank you.
Okay, good. Okay. So first though, 10E, setting a date for the public hearing for the special town meeting referendum. Am I correct? This is in reference to the items we had moved to the November, 4th?
Yes, so this is to go over to take public comment and offer information on the ballot, the town's ballot.
Oh, I guess November 2nd, sorry.
Right.
Okay.
And I think we can do that at a regular selectmen's meeting. We can do that on the 19th. So you don't have to have a special meeting.
Do you anticipate we'll have a long agenda on the 19th, at least at this point, or no?
Not with me being on vacation. There will be some things that I'll push off until the next meeting.
No one will have any issues while you're gone. All right, so how do folks feel about putting the public hearing with the meeting on the 19th?
I think that's a great idea.
Yep. Okay, so I'll entertain a motion to do that.
So
I
moved.
move- Second,
Moved by Terry, seconded by Pam to hold this public hearing for the special town meeting referendum on October 19th. Any other discussion? Calling for a vote, Terry,
Yes.
Dusty,
Yes,
Kim,
Yes.
Pam,
yes.
and I vote yes.
So the only other question I'll ask you then is, do you want to do this by Zoom or do you want to do it up at the community center where it's, it's about the ballot? And I don't know, a lot of people usually don't show up, but who knows?
I think that's probably a good idea, Dennis, because there are people who are not Zoom conscious, no matter how long we've been doing this. I think an in-person meeting is in order, but then you knew I would say that because I'm in favor of a town meeting with lots of people there. And we could try to generate some interest in people attending.
I have checked with Dwayne already and the community center is available that night.
Are folks comfortable with that?
Yeah,
Okay,
Okay.
all right.
thumbs up now.
Thank you. All right, so going back to the rest of the town manager's report. Dennis, if you want to go ahead with,
So I think it kind of spells it out pretty well. Aaron's on here. I think, yep.
Mhm.
And, I just, we're like we did with the public works truck, we're trying to think outside of the box here as to how we can not solve the problem, because this won't solve the problem, but how we can stop the bleed and how we can make sure that our ambulances are getting to people in a timely fashion and not being delayed. As I said in the report, I think, our staffing isn't fantastic. It's never been fantastic, but it's not horrible. It's some of the other services that are having issues that are causing ripple effects on us. One of the neighboring services is really struggling, and because of our mutual aid agreements, we end up having to cover some of their calls, which leaves us a little shorter staffed here. I do leave my office occasionally to go on a call if I need to. So there's another part of this as well. So if our crew is out on a call, and I'm here, and Aaron has the fly car, or Rel has the fly car, or whoever else in town has the fly car, they can get here to the station. I can get in an ambulance, and we can go and cover this other call, or even cover a call. So I can see some benefits to this. And again, it may work, it may not work. A lot of larger EMS systems across the country kind of use this model. They staff mostly BLS trucks and just have a paramedic in a fly car. And if the paramedic needs to go on the call, they go on the call. If they don't need to, they don't. I think it's a little unusual in the rural areas to be doing this. But this will help take some pressure off Aaron and Arel, because they are our only two full-time people. And we just can't expect them to cover these shifts when the other services are short. They're calling their people in, which then they have to leave work here to go deal with their full-time jobs. And Aaron and Arel can still get some time at home because they still do have families that they want to see and spend some time with. So, if Aaron wants to chime up, you guys want to listen to Aaron, she's here. She can probably speak to this a lot better than I can at this point.
Sure, Aaron, if you'd like to say anything, please feel free.
Yeah, one of our largest issues right now is that we have paramedic coverage issues, just simply because we don't have a lot of paramedics that are still on staff. We only have like 5 of them now, and a lot of them work full-time other places. So I've been having to, instead of staffing a paramedic truck all the time, having a BLS crew on, and I'm on call. So I come from my home, or I'll just stay at the office and not get paid, type of thing. So I was trying to make it easier. One, I have teenagers, so I don't want lights and sirens in my personal vehicle, because I can just see it happening, even though they're really great kids, getting that call. Chief Bean, your children have been running your sirens and your lights to get through traffic to get to Duncan. I doubt they do it, but so I don't have lights and sirens in my personal vehicle, and we've had several occasions where I've had to navigate traffic on Route 1 in creative ways. So it would be nice to have a vehicle that I could fly to them and get to the call easier and such. And also we have Wendy Williams, who's a paramedic, who may be willing to take the fly car when they're a night when she's home, or Arel, who lives in Wiscasset, or there are several other paramedics that might be willing to do it as well. Maybe Dennis, but he doesn't like it. Sorry, Dennis.
I can see the fire station from my house. So
Fine.
Well, it will, if there is a BLS crew and they need to go to Dresden, and they get to Dresden and they find out that they need help, yes, I can come here and grab the fly car and get out to Dresden or Westport Island or wherever in Wiscasset. So yes.
Pam?
Okay, thanks. I must be a little dim because I'm reading this paragraph and it says that Maine Yankees offered to donate $5,000 for a fly car. And the county's offered to sell us one for $2,000. I'm not exactly sure what you're asking for.
So
What's you're actually asking for, and what's it going to do?
So the vehicle itself needs a new light bar, and it needs a new siren, and those are not cheap. And it is a used vehicle, so I have that fear that it's possible that it needs more work. Actually, the county had wanted $5,000, but I asked them if we could negotiate so that I wouldn't have to use any of the taxpayers' money to outfit the car, so I could completely do it that way. That was what I was attempting to do.
Yeah, so what's the total you're actually asking for?
So I have acquired the vehicle for $2,000 if you guys are okay with that. I have the light bar and all of those items I can order for another $1,500, and then that leaves another $1,500 in case there's work that needs to get done on it. So I'm not really asking for any money at this time. It's kind of like I went out and I got money so that I could have this pilot program to see if it would help.
So the total would be, the total for getting the car, getting it on the road, properly equipped is the 5,000. That's where I was asking. What was the
Yeah.
total
Sorry.
amount? So,
So-
okay, because confusing
so
the way
also-
it's written in the paragraph. All right. so
Right,
5,000.
but they're not, right, but they're not asking us for additional funds. This is
Right.
the gift
No,
from,
I just wanted to be clear what this meant.
okay. Terry,
Do I understand, Erin, that you have been creative, not only you and Dennis, creative in looking at what else you could do, but you went out and negotiated money from Maine Yankee, say, could you give us $5,000? And then you were able to talk to the county and say, well, maybe you meant 2,500 so I could get this other. Did you do all of that? Is that what I understand, Erin?
Yes, I
You're
did.
something else. Thank you.
You're
thank you.
welcome.
Good job.
Really.
other questions?
She wants to be town manager.
No, I don't.
That was me, Dennis. That was me.
So guys, basically what this comes down to is because it doesn't require any taxpayer funds or doesn't require, it doesn't really require a vote anyways. This is something we could do within our operational budget if we wanted to. We really wanted to make you guys aware of what was going on. I wanted you guys to be aware of how hard Erin is working at this. But what you will have to do is vote to accept the donation from Maine Yankee, which we don't have yet, so.
Oh, darn.
Okay, so there's not really a motion on that for tonight, is that correct?
So what I'll probably end up doing is we'll purchase the car out of her operating budget, and when we get the donation, we'll just reimburse her operating account with those funds.
I have the email saying that they're gonna give it to us.
Really? I think that's just super.
Pam?
Wow.
Can we just move to accept the donation when it arrives? Can we do that tonight? and Just get it done for you?
Yeah, couldn't we do
I
that?
would move to accept the donation from Maine Yankee for the fly car.
And I would second.
Okay.
Any other questions or discussion? Okay, calling for a vote. Terry,
Yes.
Dusty,
Yes.
Kim,
Yes.
Pam,
Yes,
and I vote yes.
perfect.
Thank you both very much. Oh, is that a hand, Dusty?
Yeah, it is. Just for the rest of it, would it be possible, Dennis, to get sort of a figure, how much it would cost to bring everybody's salaries up to competitive for their industries, their fields that they're working in? So we can pay them what they're
Yes.
getting elsewhere?
Yes, I actually ran it really roughly because there is some other numbers, but out of the remaining ARPA funds, if we use those, we would probably suck up around $65,000 by the time we factor in Social Security, Medicare, raises for Erin and Aral increase in their retirement contributions. So that's pretty rough, but it is pretty much there.
Okay.
Okay. So at this point, do we want to try to schedule something very soon to get the conversation around the wages, but also other uses for the ARPA funds?
I would very much be in favor of that.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so. Let's see, Dennis, you're gone starting Friday.
Yes, and then I'll be back on the 19th, back in to work on the 19th.
Okay. And I'm gonna be out of the country from the 20th to 25th. But we'll be back the night of the 25th. So I don't know, anybody has, do we want to do a Tuesday?
So the 26th, is that available?
That would be my suggestion.
I'm open.
I'm unable to do second or fourth Tuesdays.
Right. Okay,
How about a Monday night, the 25th?
Can't do any
That's-
Mondays.
that's
Right.
planning board, ORC, or cemetery committee, depending on the Monday.
I can do a pretty much any Wednesday or Thursday.
Okay. What about Wednesday, the 27th? How does that look for people's calendars?
The investment committee meets that night.
I'm not,
5
sure-
to 6.
I'm not sure I could make it.
No, I don't. Are we meeting that night? We're meeting tomorrow. I know they talked about the 27th, but I think we pushed it off because I know we have a meeting scheduled for tomorrow.
Okay, yeah, I've got that there too.
Pam, did you say you can or cannot?
I'm not sure I'd be able to make it the 27th. I might have to work till the library closes at 7.
Could we look at the 28th? It's a better day for me too.
Yep. How does the 28th look? The
I'm
Thursday?
open. I'm open.
I've got it.
Yeah.
Okay, 28th it
Thursday, the 20th?
is. You want to do 6 p.m.? Yeah? 6.
Yeah,
Okay. So let's do 6 p.m. on the 28th for the workshop.
And then how do we want to structure that workshop? Will everybody just bring their ideas, or are we leaning on Dennis to provide us with ideas?
I
guess-
I can send you a general list of acceptable uses.
That'd be helpful.
Right, like tomorrow, I can compile something and that will give you some time to look at it and think about it and mull it over in your brain.
And can we do that in person at the town office, or are we doing that on Zoom?
I would suggest we maybe wait till a little closer.
Okay.
Assume Zoom for the moment, but
Gotcha.
Pam?
I think my preference would be to do it in person. I think there's a lot of back and forth and people talking on each other during workshops. It happens that
Is there any
might work
chance we
better.
could? Oh,
But I
sorry.
don't mind waiting till we're closer to make the decision, but I'm just saying up front, that one would be my preference.
Is there any chance we could see if the community center, or at least senior center or something is available? I know it's a pain. I had someone close to me contract COVID, and so luckily I am negative, but it's even closer than I would like, so.
It is very close. The school is on remote learning until next
Yep.
Tuesday.
Yeah, so. Okay, so let's see if we could meet in a slightly bigger room, and also that would allow for some room if folks want to be there to watch. So. All right, thank you. Okay, let me pull this back up. All right. Yes, Pam.
You forgot under unfinished, you forgot under new business, the churches.
What I added.
The town common. So I'd
Yeah.
like to move that, if you don't mind, I'd like to move that we approve the use of the churches for the town common for the blessing of the pets.
Second,
Moved and seconded. Any questions or discussion? For those who haven't been, it's a kind of a fun service. People do bring their pets with them or bring pictures of their pets to be blessed. So kind of, there we go. Erin can bring, can bring hers. All right, calling her.
I'm playing for that event, so I'm taking requests.
Okay. All right, calling for a vote. Terry,
Yes.
Dusty,
Yes.
Kim,
Yes.
Pam,
Yes.
and I vote yes. Thank you.
Sarah, will you contact them and let them know?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anything else I've forgotten? Because apparently I'm just not with it on the agenda tonight.
Can you
All
play
right.
Who Let the Dogs Out? Who let the dogs out?
I think that would be a first for a church service.
I'll work on that, okay? A little Bach thrown in, yeah,
There we go.
in the box.
All
style.
right.
I could sing it
Uh,
opera if you'd like.
All right. Next we have executive session. Anything else before we have a motion for executive session? Okay. I will entertain a motion.
I move that we go into an executive session pursuant to the provisions of Title 36, subsection 8412 MRSA to consider a request for abatement taxes for reasons of poverty.
Second.
Gonna give that one to Dusty for the second. Calling for a vote. Terry,
Yes.
Dusty,
Yes.
Aye.
Kim,
Yes. Can you close the door, Linnea?
Pam.
Yes.
I vote yes. We'll be heading into executive session, I assume going into a breakout room. You're welcome. Rob.
I believe so, because there will have to be a vote after this either way. So
Okay.
I'm assuming that Charlotte and Susan will want to hang around for that. I'm
Okay.
assuming anyways. So.
All right, bye, Jackie. Bye, Erin, thank you.
I will move you all over. You. Hold on, Pam. I'm going to try to move you over. All right, Pam, you should be able to jump over now.
We need more people.
Okay.
That's done. Oh, there he is.
And just FYI, you all got muted again, moving in here, so. Okay, do I hear a motion to leave executive session?
So moved.
Second,
Calling for a vote, Terry,
yes.
Dusty,
Yes.
Kim,
Yes.
Sam,
Yes.
and I vote yes. So we're out of executive session at 7:19. All right, so I'll entertain a motion on the poverty abatement request.
I move that we deny the poverty request, the poverty abatement request. Excuse me.
Second.
Okay,
Second,
moved by Pam, seconded by Dusty. Calling for a vote, Terry,
yes.
Dusty,
Yes.
Kim,
Yes.
Pam,
Yes.
and I vote yes. 5-0. Okay. Any other business before we adjourn? I will entertain a motion to adjourn then.
So moved.
Second,
Moved by Pam, seconded by Terry, calling for a vote. Terry,
yes.
Dusty,
Yes.
Kim,
Yes.
Pam,
Yes.
I vote yes. Thank you very much. We are adjourned at 7:20. Enjoy your vacation, Dennis.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Have a
Thank
great
you all.
time.
T-shirt.